Okay. So yeah, what was I saying? So all I'm saying is let the market open, and anything that we go over today could drastically change depending on what CPI and PPI is. So I'm going to incorporate a little bit of strat into it, because one of the things with the strat is that we trade objectively, not subjectively. So even though we may have a bias, we need to have a plan for both ways, right? Here we have Palo Alto. The reason why I wanted to point this out, because I got a question earlier in the beginner chat, so I want to go ahead and address it now about like when you're looking at the strat combo, do you wait until like the third candle closes for you to go ahead and enter in? Technically, no, but you could, technically do that as well too. Like that's not really, I don't see that as a big deal, especially from a swing perspective, because the hope is that you're going to find the next candle will have that continuation, right? But in this situation, right, we have an inside candle, right? We have a two up here, we have an inside candle, and then we have a two down, right? The week isn't obviously isn't over. There we go. The week obviously isn't over yet. However, we're seeing that we took out the lows and we exhausted off of that. So assuming that we continue to end up being a hammer, whether bullish or bearish, this one and followed by this two down sets us up for what? Anybody can answer, either come off the mic or you can put it in chat. So again, we have an inside candle followed by a two down. What does that set us up for?
Is that the real strat?
Yes,
A
ma'am.
2-up reversal.
Right. Technically, yes, 2-2 reversal, but I'm talking about the three candle combo, which you're right. For whoever just said that, because it doesn't show me the name at the time, I apologize. But that does set us up for a 1-2-2 rev strat to the upside, right? Anytime I see, situation like when I get inside candles, that's another thing that I pay attention to, and I want y'all to take mental note of it, right? And this is also going to tie into not always having to be the first one in, because you can get a situation like this, right? Where you get that two down candle that tells you to go ahead and take this entry to the downside only for what? I'm sorry, one second. Okay. Only for what was I going to say? Only for it to wick off of that and then set up for the 1-2-2 rev strap back to the upside. So it's really important that when you mark out your when you go ahead and chart, this is the reason why I go from the month to the week down into the day, because you want to know, like, when you're taking out a low on a weekly or on a higher time frame, right? Because that could be an area that is a take profit. So for example, somebody may have gotten in up here to short it with this target in mind, right? So what happens is, it takes out the low. You probably got some ill-timed shorts jumping in there as well too, but all that was just either probably profit taking from the bulls, like allowing price to go down, or again, the shorts that got in up here decided to, have this as a target, maybe on a daily basis or whatever, and take their profit, which then allows for this situation coming right here. All right. But as far as to answer that question, like, would you wait until that third candle comes in? Absolutely not. Right. You can, if it's on a weekly or even on a daily for that matter, right? Actually, I'm gonna leave that one alone. Let's say the week had finished the way it is right now, right? You go ahead and put in your weekly entry right here, right? And then you go ahead and put in your weekly. I'm sorry, I chose the wrong thing. My bad. There we go. Weekly, put entry there, and then your weekly entry right here. Let me get rid of these other lines so it doesn't cause any confusion. All right. So let's say next week is coming up. If price decides to go ahead and take out this high, then that's your signal to get in. But again, you don't always have to be the first one in. Here's what I would do, right? If it crosses, like, let's say this is either the weekly, the daily, or whatever. If it crosses the weekly to the upside, right? What I'm going to do, my bad. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to look at what's going on the daily, right? I'm waiting for on the daily on a smaller time frame for it to pull back into, for it to pull back, excuse me, into that same weekly entry, right? So basically do this, take up and then come back on a smaller time frame, come back to that same entry. Now, if I'm noticing that it's wicking off of this or bouncing off of this, like basically doing this, right? Or basically doing this, maybe come down a little bit low, that's the wick, and then comes right back up, then that tells me I can go ahead and take that entry. Again, you don't have to take the first entry. As a matter of fact, if you're looking to eventually combine the strat and ICT, ICT talks about that as well too. You're not looking for that first move, you're looking actually for the second one, right? Oh, but Tensho, what happens if it takes off on me? Fuck it, it takes off on you. It is what it is. If you really want to, you can pay attention to it and mark out on a higher time frame. That price is more than likely going to come back and retest it. But yeah, like if it takes off on you, as a matter of fact, what was I just looking at that? Was it on the weekly? Shit, no, I wasn't. I was looking at something. Damn it. Not I can't remember what it was, but it's fine. I'll just got to start writing this stuff down. But either way, right? Big run up, or was it Adobe? I'm sorry, this is gonna bother me until I get it, y'all. I'm sorry. Nope, it's not Adobe. I just looked at like a shit ton of tickers just now before we started. Damn it. It's all right. It'll come back to me eventually. If I find it again. Intel gap. Okay, good. That's it. That might be a good example. Intel gapped up on the daily, I assume. Yeah. Okay, cool. So for me, what I would do, that's shit. I'm sorry. The chart just came back to me, but I can't remember. Well, what's the ticker? Was it Meta? No, it wasn't Meta. Hold up. It's an Nvidia. Actually, it was Nvidia. All right, so perfect example here, right? Of not having to be the first one in, right? You get a gap, right? Obviously, from here to here it triggers, right? So you're like, oh man, I missed the move, right? Runs up from what 106 all the way up to 115, right? Oh, I missed the move. But here's your second move, right? Came back to retest that very same entry. Obviously didn't hit it on the money, but for me, right, I'm probably taking honestly, I'm probably taking wherever the candle closes. I've been working on the ICT entries more so than the strat, but even still, with that being said, you could have still taken that strat entry at 112, and then I mean, look at where it goes. That's the second leg, y'all, right? This was your first down here, right? This is your first. All them gaps and everything, you're like, oh shit, I missed the run, right? I'm pretty sure you probably would have been thinking that, right? Because the um the Discord would have been going crazy. Oh my God, from 96, I entered. Oh my God, it's all the way up to 115. That's just the first leg. This is where I want y'all to start remembering this stuff, right? To have that patience. This will save you, in my opinion, from effing up your port, right? Because you could be like, man, I'm missing a move. I'm missing a move until your emotions finally get the best of you. And what do? You enter what? Somewhere up here, right? 112, only to see it hit 115, right? So you get a little taste of that green, and then it, falls back on you, right? Psychologically, what happens next? You get out of that trade only to see that shit take off all the way up to 140. And then that's when you start telling yourself, like, what is it people say? What is it? I used to say, of course, the ticker runs when I get out of it, right? Because now you're telling yourself there's no way you could possibly win because the market just doesn't like you. It doesn't like what you did. It doesn't like your choice. It just wants to be against you. Newsflash, people, the market has zero emotion. It doesn't give a shit about your portfolio. It doesn't give a shit about the money you make. And frankly, it doesn't give a shit about the money that you lose either. Just a newsflash. Just, I had to say it, right? But that was my point about not having to be the first one in. That's one. Now coming back to the 1-2 scenario that we're talking about, right? And then we coming back into the weekly. All right. So for me, you don't have to be the first one in, but just notice, right? You don't wait for that third candle to close either. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to wait for that third candle to complete before jumping in, right? For me, if it happens on a weekly, actively on the week, that's when again I'm going to zoom in on the daily, right? Because more than likely, after it passes the first time, it's gonna come back to retest. So for me, I'll probably like if it does it, if it passes the weekly entry on, let's say, a Monday or a Tuesday, I'm probably gonna be looking towards the end of the week, maybe Wednesday and Thursday it sinks back down, and then Friday it takes off. Bottom line is I'm looking for that opportunity for it to go. But on the 1-2, you're not waiting for that third candle to complete. Now, if you wanted to do that, I mean, frankly, there's really no problem with that. Um, it can continue, it can continue going higher. Even on 3-2-2 rev strats, to be honest with you, like, or any rev strat, really, I don't really want to say like if the third candle closes already, like, oh, well, don't touch it now. Not necessarily so. You have to start asking yourself, like, where are we in the range? Right. And that's where the broadened formations come into play. Right. So just real quick, right, from a higher high back to a lower previous high, and then we'll probably take, we'll make it a little bit bigger, right? We could take from there to there, right? So if I were to see that it already triggered, right? And let's say we wait for the third candle to close, right? If price gets up, probably somewhere around these highs where there's potential exhaustion, honestly, from a swing standpoint, I'm probably not going to take it. I'm probably going to wait for some sort of a pullback, right? Because the key is when you're swinging, especially, well, really with any type of trading, you always want to buy low and sell high, right? So, I'm not saying you got to wait till price comes all the way down here, but you generally would want, strat wise and ICT wise, you would want to enter a trade potentially on a reversal, not necessarily on continuations. Does that mean you can never take a trade on a continuation? No. It just means that you have in my opinion, a better risk to reward when you're entering on pullbacks because you're getting in at a cheaper price for one. And then two, why it's better risk to reward because again, you're entering on a pullback, which gives you more room to the upside. All right. So that's the 1-2-2 rev strat. And then another thing I want you to think about strat wise is this, right? Whenever you're seeing setups like that, let me see if I can find another setup like that actually. Let's go to my handy dandy scanner. 1 second. Excuse me. Let's find something on the daily. And I don't want the ham shoot. Let's do inside. Yeah, let's do inside with a 2 down on the daily search. God damn. Really? Only 2 tickers out of my whole list? Shit. But this one probably bad. Let's see. So BA and Palo Alto came up. Oh, yeah, not really a good setup at all. I mean, we do have the inside candle, right? So we actually that's a 2 up. We actually do have an inside candle and a 2 down, which is kind of bullish, but I'm not really sold, especially with what came out in the news. If anything, I would say this is a good opportunity for shorts. If you see, right, like, and this may not happen immediately tomorrow, you would actually, if you want to short this, you actually want this to go up, right? So I would probably mark out, honestly, this whole region right here from here to possibly actually this high right here, right? If you see price get up in here and starting to wick, right, kind of exhaust or whatever, so then I would say, yeah, you probably might want to start looking at shorts. I know BA had this stuff with the criminal court case or whatever, the fraud stuff. Yeah, it's not really looking too good for them, right? I think there's definitely some downside that's coming, but which will probably set up for some pretty decent longs once they get to turn their shit around. All right. Let's come back to Palo Alto, right? Again, keep in mind anything that I talk about is, probably going to change, or could be changed when we get to CPI. But one thing I do want to talk about, one second, on Palo Alto, right? So first thing I want to say is when we look at the monthly, right? Um, we're potentially on a monthly TTO run, right? So on the month, we had our pullback, first pullback, second leg. Here's the second pullback. Now it looks like we're working on that third leg. Um, no pun intended. So we're looking, I think, from a monthly perspective, we're looking at TTO back to the upside, ultimately taking out this 380.84. Keep in mind, this is on the monthly, right? So we may not see this happening till possibly August or even September in the end of the quarter. So doesn't mean that this is an immediate thing that's going to happen. The first thing is to um, get above monthly entry and stay above that. So we obviously haven't done that just yet. Coming into the weekly, again, we're kind of seeing the same practice being, or the same behavior of price being mimicked, right? Run up, pull back, run up. So, excuse me, assuming that the week stays the way it is, there we go, stays the way it is, or possibly even flips green, then we can really start looking at this as an actionable signal, right? Strat wise, this would create a Momo hammer, right? And remember what a Momo hammer represents. You find it in an uptrend, and it just represents profit taking from the long side combined with ill-timed shorts. So again, the shorts get in here at the wrong time, thinking price is about to continue back down, only for only for the bulls to really step back in and bring price up, which will eventually cause the shorts to cover, which will add to that buying pressure. So there is potential for us to possibly go outside. Now, this is not necessarily an official strat thing, but it was created, well, not created, it was discovered or brought to our attention by one of, I guess, the OG stratters. Her name is Sarah Strat. If you don't know who she is, find out. She's actually one of the people I've learned from, through her videos about the strat. Her Strat Soldier, Alex options. 1 second, guys. Okay. So one of the things that Sarah brought to, I guess, the Strat community's attention is called the 50% retrace, right? So what that means is, like, if you have, again, inside candle, or really any candle, right? And it doesn't guarantee it, but it kind of gives how can I put it? But a higher probability of a chance. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry about that. So it gives a higher probability of a chance of a candle going outside, but I also use it more than that, right? For me, I look at 50% retraces not only for that reason, but also if the candle closes above the 50% retrace, in my mind, that makes me feel, especially if it took out the lows, or in reverse took out the highs, that makes me feel like price is more than likely going to continue that direction. So if we end the week above 338.51, then that tells me, okay, this is, probably gonna, turn into a 2-2 reversal back to the upside. And again, we don't immediately jump in strat wise. We wait for the confirmation. right? Because we're objective, not subjective, even though we may have a bias, we're not married to it. But yeah, if it stays above that 50% retrace, then I'm liking the chances of it continuing to reversal. Now, if the week is still actively open, right? The candle is still open, and let's say the candle gets above the 50% retrace, especially if it happens, in my opinion, before like the middle of the week, right? If it happens on like a Monday or a Tuesday, more than likely, again, not a guarantee, but more than likely that candle's probably going to end up going outside, right? What it does after going outside, whatever, if it like wicks and then comes back into the range, whatever. But, to me, that heightens the probability of that candle, going outside, right? So what I do is I use the fibs to just draw the 50% of the previous candle, right? So if I see price on the weekly starting to cross above this, then again, what I'm going to do is go into the daily. And again, using that 50% retrace, I might wait till price comes back to retest and maybe wick off of it. So that gives me a potential for an earlier entry, right? Like let's say my target is the weekly entry that where I originally wanted to enter, right? But let's say it reverses on me and it, takes out the low of the week first. That doesn't necessarily mean forget about it or like your bias was wrong. It just might take a little bit more time, especially for you swingers to pay attention to that. So then if price bounces off of that, just like it did these 3 times over here, that would tell me, okay, this is, clearly being held as support. It keeps getting bought up. Obviously, price doesn't want to attack this gap here as well, too. So keeps getting bought up. Now we have a 2 down. So maybe tomorrow, if we can get above this 50% and hold above it, maybe on the following day on the Friday, it might come back and retest and bounce. I could go ahead and take that entry, right? I could probably get the next 2 weeks out or whatever, probably targeting either the weekly entry or something a little bit higher. Oh shit, it's actually attacking a gap over here. Oh, so in that case, I might even target up here. The gap closed at we'll just say 360. You know what I'm saying? So not only do you get the better entry above the 50%, right? But now you can just hold it, obviously and making sure that it's still going in your favor, but you can continue to hold that up at the 360 mark. And again, you're getting in somewhere around, let's say 340, right? A $20 move on something over the next 2 weeks to complete a gap fill for a actually I gotta go check it for a there it is. Oh, $9. Yeah. So for Palo Alto, that moves $9 a day. That's pretty fucking good. And you've given yourself enough time, right? We're talking a $20 move for something that moves $9 a day. So arguably speaking, it could take maybe 2 to 4 days to get there, and you've given yourself 14 to do it. I think that'd be a pretty decent swing. All right. But that's how you would formulate that. All right. Somebody give me a ticker they want to look at. I'm gonna next show you how to chart from both ways. So I want you to be prepared and I want you to start getting in the habit of developing a game plan for situations like this where we have outside factors that may direct where price goes the following day. So I want you to get in the habit of developing that game plan. So somebody just give me a ticker, any ticker, it doesn't really matter.
Spy.
Spy? Really? Okay. That's fine, no problem. Okay. So, I mean, I assume if you're asking for spy, you're probably not looking to swing it weeks out. So I'm not going to mark anything out on the monthly. But if we were swinging it, I probably would say,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You was talking about weeklies. My bad.
no, it doesn't matter. Like we could
Right.
I mean, I could do both. I'm not great. I won't call myself a great day trader, but it's still the same concept, supply just on a shorter time frame. So we can go ahead and continue with this. Hold on. Let me see what Pepsi Meta. Shuey. Yo, there was something in I think on
Oh man,
Twitter.
not the meme stock.
Right. I was gonna say like there was talking about like some what is that? What is that guy's name? Kitty? Yeah,
Yeah,
Roaring Kitty.
Roaring Kitty.
Yeah, somebody like he might be buying Chewy again or something. I'm like, oh God, I'm
Man,
not
here we
touching
go.
it. I'm not,
Run up,
I'm
run
sorry.
down, run up,
Look,
run down.
dog,
Too much
I'm so
volatility,
sorry.
huh?
Huh?
Too much volatility.
Yeah, like dog, I'm so sorry. Like I don't, man, no, I can't fuck with meme stocks.
I think it's a fake out anyway, man. He making that company some money, making him some money, and he getting out.
It's just for me, like there's nothing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know the market does what it wants to do. Like,
Yeah.
market sentiment or whatever can change at any given point. It's just like though most of stocks move because of a valid reason. Like meme stocks for me, like there's no reason other than you just want it to go up. So for
That's
me,
why I'm trying to learn the fundamentals, man.
yeah,
I
like for me,
never learned how to read charts or nothing. I just been speculating for years, and
yeah,
I've been
and that's what I'm saying. Like when it's
I
like
took a
that,
bad loss recently. That's why. Oh
right?
yeah,
No, you good. So when it's like that though, like for me, that scares me because it's really based on like just emotion. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody's
yes
just getting
sir.
in just because they want it to run up. And then I'm like, that can it's like quicksand, bro. To me, it's like at any given point, like that thing can just give way and you're just left holding the bag while everybody else got out and telling you like,
Yes
how did you?
sir.
But
Yes
anyway,
sir.
all right. So let's go ahead and let's start on the weekly with SPY, right? All right. So far, obviously the weekly is doing its thing. If you were to chart out the weekly, your weekly entry obviously already surpassed here, right? And then your where was I? Sorry, there we go. Your weekly put entry. So this is what I want y'all to get in the habit of doing as straters. I want you to mark out both entries, right? On the weekly and the daily. If you're a swing trader, do it also for the monthly as well, too. If you swing like me, do it also for the quarter, right? And don't erase it. You wanna know because those highs and those lows on the higher time frames, again, are take profit areas for traders on the smaller time frame, which is the reason why whenever you see like a month gets taken to the upside or to the downside, or the quarter gets taken to the upside or the downside, you usually see a pullback at that point. You usually see that, right? At some point, you usually see price is going to come back to retest either that high or that low. All right. So something to pay attention to with that. And so whenever you see like the month and the quarter get taken out, just remember what I'm saying right now, you swing traders, right? So you don't think that you have to rush and get in on the trade immediately just because it took the month and the quarter. More than likely, and again on a smaller time frame, zoom down into a smaller time frame, zoom into a smaller time frame, and just keep that level marked out. Price will more than likely come back to retest that level. It may not be the following day. Hell, it may not even be the following week, but it's more than likely going to come back and retest that level. All right. So anyway, you mark out the quarter. I mean, excuse me, you mark out the weekly. It's already taken up. But I'm gonna still give you, I mean, although highly unlikely, I'll still give you a game plan for the other side of it, right? So actually what I'm gonna do is do this as well too. Boom, 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 boom. Get the 50% marked out. And then on the daily, we have to mark out our daily entry there and for the upside, and then our daily entry here to the downside. Now, you also need targets, of course, right? So if you're doing it based on the weekly, you have no targets to the upside because we are at all-time highs. Hi, dinosaur. Right? So you don't really have a target strat-wise. I know you can, run the fibs and psych levels, etc. But strat-wise, you technically do not have a target. This is the reason why most OG stratters give you that whole you're at all-time highs, exhaustion risk, right? Be careful, don't get in at the highs because it can reverse on you at any given point. But yes, that was a beautiful move to 560. I was kind of like not in shock, but like kind of in awe. I'm like looking at the charts over the week. I'm like, yo, is Spot really about to hit 560 and Q's really about to go to 500? And fuck it, it probably is. And look at what happened. All right. So if it breaks to the upside, probably say keep it close to the money. I would probably say maybe either 563, maybe 565 if you're talking about swinging it for a couple of weeks. But I would always keep to the back of my head that we're at all-time highs, so this could exhaust at any given point. Daily solid candle though, so we're more than likely going to see a continuation unless CPI or PPI for that matter changes that sentiment. But for right now, it looks like that's what's going to happen. We had the accumulation over here. There's your pullback, taking out the low over there. Well, this little low right here. And then you get the slingshot to the upside, the distribution. All right. So yeah, if it triggers to the upside, I'm probably going to tell you to, look at 563, 565. Now for a game plan to the downside. Okay. If price were to trigger the put entry right here, technically you could take that, but I would be cautious. I probably would not take it the first day, right? If it triggers to the downside, right? I'm probably going to wait for it. Me as a swinger, I'm probably going to wait for it to come back and retest that very same low, especially considering that even if it does trigger the downside on the daily, it still would be green on the week, right? And remember, you have to consider full time frame continuity as well, too. All right. Now, if we were to take daily entry to the downside, come back and retest on the very same candle by zooming in to an hourly, I might take it if it were to be closing below the weekly entry, right? Because then what does that do? What does that candle now set up on the higher time frame? On the weekly, that candle then sets up potentially a shooter, right? Because again, I'm talking about the week, I'm talking about the daily, but this week is not closed. I'm talking about if this happens on Thursday or Friday. So if on Thursday or Friday that price somehow finds itself below weekly entry, that sets you up for a shooter on the weekly, right? Exhaustion risk, right? At all-time highs, sets you up for a shooter on the weekly. And at that point, I probably would feel more comfortable taking the shorts to the downside. And if I take the shorts to the downside, I'm more than likely going to target the weekly low or the 50% retrace, really up to you. Right? So this is what I mean when I say you're setting a game plan for either or, right? So if it goes up, if it triggers to the upside, I know I'm looking at, 563, 565, probably ask Jay because he knows spot better than me, right? Or if you want to keep it very close, 562. If it triggers to the downside, I'm probably not going to do anything. I want to see if on Thursday price closes below this weekly call entry, right? If it does that and then takes that trigger down, I'm going to go ahead and jump in, feel a little bit more comfortable in jumping in. But again, I'm probably either going to target the 548 or what I actually might do is grab the 550 put with this as a target in mind. But if it hits that early, obviously, into next week and I'm swinging, again, 2 weeks out, if it closes Friday below the 50% retrace, then I'm probably going to hold on to that swing and allow it to continue going over the next 2 weeks, seeing if it hits my secondary target of the 542.52. Pausing to see what's in the chat.
Be mindful that you're gonna have it's not showing here, and I know you're doing the strat right now, but you're gonna have some fair value gaps in there that could affect that as well.
Absolutely. No arguments there. I'm just trying to keep it to the strat.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
No, trust me. My ICT mind is seeing. I promise you I'm seeing it. I am. I'm definitely seeing it.
And I can't unsee it. That's also
right. Because I was hesitant to say like 5 because the fair value gap really might bounce off of that. But I'm trying to keep it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it disciplined because I know what's happening right now, especially for the brand new people. You guys are probably making, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but you're probably making the same mistakes that I did starting out, where I actually used to combine in the beginning before mastering one. I used to try to combine like 2 and 3 strategies at once. And it was just information overload for me, analysis paralysis. Right. So I then focused on just mastering one. Trust and believe. I am going to get to a point where I'm going to start talking about the two together. but I really want to make sure that we understand the foundation of the strat. So, but yes, yes, I can definitely see it. Supreme, don't worry about it. I'm not even going to answer what ICT is. Don't worry about it. I'm not
Can
even.
can I say this then?
Yeah.
Because I agree with that. Don't add anything else to it. Um, just for me, before I knew about, those other things, I couldn't understand, why I wasn't, what I couldn't understand what was happening. So don't, you can aim for these other targets, but you have to know when to exit. If you even if you have time on it, because I used to have time on it, but couldn't understand why, I was losing money, or, even when it got stuck in a particular area. Just know when to exit, because there are other things that might be in play and you don't know why it's holding in a certain area.
Yep.
And you might not see what other people may see. More experienced traders might see other things that's holding price in a certain area. Just know that even though you have a price target that's in another area that's lower or higher, if you're in a call, if you don't hold it, because it's going to chop away at your premium. And so just know when to exit, and you can always re-enter or reassess and enter in, the opposite direction or something else. But I used to hold stuff like, I got time. Before you knew it, it ate on my premium. So just know when to get out.
Supreme, to answer your question, yeah, that's what I don't think I said you would enter early, because I was saying if price were to trigger to the, like, I'm answering as if I'm only strat. ICT wise, honestly, I probably never mind. So this low, right? If it triggers to the downside, I'm not saying to jump in yet. Here's what I would do. The next candle, if it triggers to the downside, I'm looking to see if that candle closes below the weekly call entry. In other words, the weekly high, right? The previous week's high. If it closes below that, on the next candle is where I'm taking that entry to the downside, assuming it breaks the low of that candle, right? So yes, strat wise, you do wait for that next candle to confirm, but you're not necessarily waiting until close of that next candle to take the entry. All right, hopefully, yeah, okay, good. You said gotcha, perfect. I marked out this white line. I'm not going to explain why, because it's technically not a strat, but to Kimberly's point, price could very well come down to this level and bounce right off of it. Just saying, right? So you're right, Kim. There are other things that my eyes see, but I really want to make sure that we get the foundation down first, and then we can start elevating into other things. But anyway, the point of what this exercise was to show you SPY and show you that even though you may have a bias, because let's be real, right? Looking at SPY on the quarter, on the month, on the week, on the date, like, come on, like it's bullish bias, right? But you still want to be prepared for whatever the market throws your way. You don't want to be one of those traders that get stuck, like, oh, well, it didn't go my way immediately. Now I don't know what to do. Then worse is you start looking for random tickers that, let's say, maybe the Discord is saying they're hitting off of, right? And without doing the proper charting, without doing the proper planning, without doing the proper execution, you just jump into it, not even realizing that you actually jumped in at the highs while others got in at the lows. For example, AMD is actually a pretty good example of that today, right? So we did a move from the lows of 177, right, all the way up to, it got to the highs of 187, but I think it jumped up first and then started to fall back a little bit. So for those, once it crossed that 187, I know that was a level that Sal had talked about, right? Once it hit there's probably people who are still getting it up here, only for it to fall back on you. Now, ultimately,
You know what? So
yeah.
I'm
Oh, I
gonna
didn't
cut
even know
in.
you was on this call. What's up?
I just came here. I'm eating and I'm a little bit liquored up. You heard me? But I really
Anything can
think
happen.
the market gonna bleed tomorrow. But them tickers that really been pushing no matter what the data says. There's a tickers you should keep your eye on, like AMD and Tesla. I know a lot of people still want Tesla, but in my honest opinion, I don't think a lot of people should be playing it. That's at premium. You know, AMD, if you notice the contracts now, they are priced in as well, pretty good. You know, so really them pullback days are them days that why Tesla owe you some money. You should be up in that shit, doc. You know, but a lot of them plays, man, I think a lot of people they are more or less afraid to get in unless they know like for sure. But man, if you've been playing this market and you charting it, you know, I'm really getting in on the fields now to get that OTE entry. You know, and I'm using different time frames as well. And what I mean by that, like the 4 hour and 195 minute and stuff like that. You know, things ain't always gonna be kosher. But also I noticed like a lot of people they miss out. Like if I don't alert some shit, they don't get in it, or if somebody else not talking about it, they don't get in it. Like AMGN, for example, you know that play is printing. You know, a lot of other plays, you know, like I put in my channel, and you know, I'm not talking shit whatever. I just noticed that, you know, whatever the popular ticket is, you know, that's what a lot of people jump in on, and I think that's a mistake. You know, because everybody was on shop, myself included, but it never triggered to nothing what I like, so I never got in this shit. Now a lot of other Discords I know got in on and they got smoked, you know, but if something don't trigger or if something don't meet my criteria for getting in a play, I'm not getting in no matter who like that motherfucker. You know, you gotta set your own trading rules for your portfolio and for your style, you know.
Agreed.
Now, also tomorrow, so I feel like this is bullish or bearish, I'm gonna eat. And no matter if I chart something up and, you know, of course the setup goes the other way, you know, I'm simply gonna pivot and make money in that aspect. You know, now I day trade, swing, scalp, and all this shit, but you know, I think a lot of people they more or less. Well, I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but I just talked to this guy off of my Twitter, and he like, man, what y'all doing that's different? You know, he in another particular Discord, and he just keep on losing. You know,
He
shit
yell
like
at you
this.
until you learn the goddamn charts.
Yeah, that's really in all my being brutally honest. I feel like that's a lot of people that you know, they problem, man. They waiting on call outs. You know, I feel like we do a pretty damn good job of being self-sufficient or teaching people how to be self-sufficient. You know, I know Allie's in the crowd. She's, you know, I can't say that I
Damn,
taught
Allie on here
Allie
too?
everything she knows, but Allie is a fucking sniper, you know, and she a swing trader. She not gonna get in something every day just because of, you know, I'm in it or feel the keys in it or, you know, she, and I'll say this with all due respect, man, y'all would be shocked at the amount of money people in here make, you know.
That's
Fuck, there's some
cool.
people in here that make way more money than I do, to be brutally honest, you know.
Yeah, I know Allie took them Adobe, so I know she making money. Shit.
Yeah, but notice too though, the way she play her shit, bro, her shit might be fucking gaining intrinsic value for over a month,
Yeah,
literally.
real shit.
And you know, like when you gaining intrinsic value, every fucking dollar, $2, that might be another extra $1,000. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but there's somebody that came in Zamunda, and you know, she wasn't waiting on call outs or none of that shit. You know,
Do her
she
own shit.
learned how to trade. She learned fields. She done got with different people, whatever, and she doing her own thing. You know.
Yep. You put in NVIDIA, right? So let's talk about that real quick. So but to Sal's point again, how you see how he talks about he's like seamlessly transitioning and pivoting. That's essentially what I want to give y'all, and that's in my opinion, one of the benefits of why I like the strat, because it allows you to pivot.
And you
It
know what,
allows
Tuss?
you to pivot to the
Hold
next
up. You know what? I say this here. So now I say this here. In the early morning, I was down over $1,300 because I got in AMD right when at that fucking opening bell. Now, majority of traders gonna get out that shit. They down $1,300. I know that without a doubt.
Right. No,
But-
that's true.
You know, I also, believe in this ICT shit, and I'm getting in when this shit going the other way.
Early.
I know a lot of people be like, man, they want to see you live trade, et cetera, and shit. But my opinion, man, 95% of the people, when I'm getting entry on some of this shit, they not gonna take them motherfuckers. They're gonna be like, "Unc, you tripping." I guarantee you they gonna say that.
True.
AVGO. Why you took AVGO? What, you got smoked for $4,500?
Yes, sir.
Somebody
Tell you
took
no
it
lie.
extreme.
Got in too
Man,
early, just off of just knee jerk, just jumped in.
Right.
Man, if you ain't been in these markets, and I'm gonna say you done hit 30, 40K, lost it and made it back, man, don't do that shit.
Exactly. Yeah, I learned my lesson.
Like Full Guard, man, look, you gotta find your ticker that works for you. You can't be in like trading multiple tickers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't want to brag a little. I mean, I kind of do, but I kind of don't. But I mean, all right. So I'm gonna brag on Allie. Allie, she gonna trade, like, she got like 4, 5, 6 tickers that she trade, and she know like the back of her hand. Full Guard, he know the fuck out of Nvidia. He don't give a fuck what else somebody else doing. He gonna trade Nvidia up or down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Congratulations on that. I think you just said something about that earlier in the chat. So congrats, Food. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
and this something that I feel really we can't teach. We can show you how, but it's like you gotta figure that out in your own self. Like, what are your tickers? Like me, my go-to ticker every day is QQQ, regardless. If that motherfucker ain't trading sideways, and then sometimes even when it trades sideways, I can jump on a 1 or 2 minute and still make money on this shit. But you gotta figure out your tickers.
Yes, sir. Let me see what's in the chat. Bet. Okay, good. Okay, so you wanted to know about NVIDIA, right? So honestly, I think NVIDIA is completing the TTO. Now, again, I'm not saying that this is going to happen tomorrow, because again, we got shit going on, outside factors, right? But I think even with the pullback, let's say we take a pullback into consideration, right? It could still set you up for a long, in my opinion, right? I'm still on the bias. I'm still on the bias or the opinion of buy the dip. Okay, so we end up with a Momo hammer on NVIDIA, which again, barring what happens as far as economic calendar, would indicate that we're probably going to continue higher. Hold on.
Smoking cigarettes.
And he smokes with cigarettes. If you know Boondocks, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I never learned how to chart, mark entries. Yeah, King, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so Momo Hammer indicates that we're probably going to continue higher. Strat-wise, where's your next target? 140, right? Some of you may already be in it. I'm not sure, but it is what it is. So for me, even if it triggers to the downside, I'm going to keep it a stack. I'm probably not taking that short, right? If anything, I'm waiting to see if it comes back down to this weekly entry. If it comes back to this weekly entry and holds, right? And maybe, or even wicks off of it, maybe even giving a hammer down here, I'm probably looking to take a long back up to 140. I'm probably going to give myself time on it. If anything, tomorrow, if we bleed, in my opinion, it's a great opportunity to get things on sale. Just keeping it a stack. Now, that doesn't mean you immediately enter as it goes down. I want to be clear on that. It does not mean you immediately enter as it goes down. Tomorrow might just be a hunting day. You may not actually get a shot off tomorrow, but the following day you might, right? And I'm speaking mainly to the swingers. Oh, I thought somebody put something in the chat. Okay. All right. Just because of the Momo hammer, and then also the fact that we took the week up as well too. Clearly we found support down here at the 118, 120 level. Right, the month is obviously still inside, but we're pretty up above the 50%. All right, so for me, again, I'm looking at it like, okay, you know, we're probably going to continue up. Even if it's a pullback, price is probably going to end up trying to take out this liquid, that's the ICT term, trying to take out this high before it pulls back, like really a pullback, right? Yeah, it's like I keep seeing something come up in the chat, but oh, that's y'all too talk. Okay, got it. Never mind. That's why I keep
You
popping.
talking about the pullback, your
Yeah.
support at what was that, 118?
No. For me, if it pulls back to the weekly call entry, because remember how I said that on a higher time frame, like when you trigger the week, you zoom in. Just if it starts pulling back, you'll zoom in and see if that high gets retested, right? So what I'm doing, if it does pull back tomorrow, even Friday, I'm looking to see if the weekly call entry at 128.85, I'm looking to see how it holds up around that level, right?
Okay, on support.
If we
Okay.
get it to close, you know, still above this level, and again, I would preferably want it in a hammer form, right? Actionable signal, some sort of an actionable signal, maybe, whether that be
Right.
a hammer candle or maybe an inside candle that's like sitting
And that
right
would
on
be an
this
upper move.
level, right? That's where I would look to take that call back to the
Call.
upside,
Right.
targeting this high up here.
Okay.
And again, go maybe 1 or 2 weeks out.
Okay.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. Now, if again, now to give you the bearish, I guess, bias of it for NVIDIA, if price comes back down and closes below this weekly high, I'm still not taking the puts, but that would get me interested in the following week to possibly, you know, take the puts to the downside. Because if we close below the weekly call entry, right, then we end up, especially if we end up somewhere around the weekly low, then we end up with a shooter candle as opposed to the full body green candle that we're looking at right now, right? So if by Friday's close, if we down here, now we're looking at a shooter candle, right? Which tells me that this previous high, right, we couldn't close above this range, this previous high, which tells me that the sell orders here got that pressure, got that pressure down. So we may fail off of that and continue down. In which case, honestly, I'm probably still going to look at this 120 put, because for real, the way I feel about the market right now, it's a buy to dip situation. So if I do get into any short, it's going to be very short lived. It's not going to be something that I'm holding, you know, for weeks or months out. All right.
Gotcha. All right.
Can y'all both team up and team me? Nah, they good. They good. But you know, it took them time to get with and patience. Patience. That's why I keep like reminding you. I know it's real cliche to say this shit, but it's a marathon, bro. It's not a sprint. It's not. And those who sprint and let's say make you know, believe it or not, make a lot of money in a short amount of time, because they lack the discipline, they usually end up giving it right back to the market anyway. And you could tell me that's not true. We've literally had DMs.
I need to find me
about
a ticker so I can learn how to chart it.
that.
Just
I'm gonna say this. I started out with a very small watch list of about 10 to 15 generally small tickers. I'm not saying you got to get small tickers.
man,
But
I'll
I
go to
started doing,
pharmaceuticals.
huh?
I'll go to pharmaceuticals. I don't care.
But they that helped me a lot to get comfortable with not only price action, but just knowing how things move. And I think if you focus on the same tickers, in my opinion, you get cheat codes on the higher time frames. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're seeing like levels of resistance and levels of support on higher, well, not the quarter, but like on the month, if you see levels of support, and then if you see price starting to fall back down to that level, to me, that's a cheat code for a swing back to the upside. Ultimately, all you would do is wait till that low gets swept. I'll just mark it white. Wait till that low gets swept, and if it does get swept and we still end up above the low, we actually just sweep it and wick off of it, then to me, that's a potential indicator to go long. And again, if it happens on a monthly time frame, I'm probably going to go ahead and grab 3 months out and call it a day. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of, I mean, it's not a perfect strat entry, but it's the same reasoning that I essentially I was using for AAL. AAL on, let's say, the month. Sorry, hold up. And right, so you see all these levels right here. These are all lows where prices bounced off of from before, right? On a higher time frame on the month. So if I'm seeing price coming back down to these levels, we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times so far. Price has come back, you know, to retest this over a span of time. And what has price done every single time it's touched these levels, right? So at this point, I'm not saying it's easy, but it becomes a cheat code to me. Like, okay, we return back to a previous range of support. At this point in my mind, is like, I just need to give it time. Right. So this started happening in June. I feel like September is a great time for it to happen. And I just so happen to be lucky enough that the contracts were relatively cheap to grab a shit ton of them. I need to know what the number. Oh, buddy, Supreme. Go to, let me see which channel did I put it in? Because I just did this, I think, like 2 weeks ago. Go to, did I put it in Tensho's weekly Zoom? Where the hell is Tensho's weekly Zooms? Oh, under Zamunda University. Yeah, under Zamunda University, Tensho's weekly Zoom sessions. Go to yeah, it's literally the last video I posted. It should say Zoom session discussing the strat basics. Should have talked about the candles in there if I'm not mistaken. All right. But yeah, so I know some of y'all probably joined looking for like plays or whatever. I'm kind of hesitant to put anything out there because of, again, you know, CPI and PPI. So all I'm gonna say is, you know, keep on the one, like, you know, if we're bullish, Nvidia's probably gonna go, right? Just note, right? Nvidia's probably gonna go. AMD's probably gonna go. Let me take a quick look at Meta. Not quite sold on it. It could go, but I'm not quite sold on it. I do like how, you know, it's finding a little support, so it could go. It could. Let me see the weekly. It's still holding above the high, so yeah, it could still go. It could, Meta could still go. Yeah, the month is still, so it could still go. Not the perfect setup that I would like, but yeah, it could definitely still go. What else do y'all look at? Y'all look at AVGO. AVGO, what are we doing on the month? The month is still inside, but we're very, very close to taking the month up. What are we looking like on the week? We did take the week up, but we're just not in force. Okay. So AVGO could go as well too. I mean, I don't like how the daily closed here. It might just consolidate a little bit, maybe then take out, you know, take out a low and then probably go. But it seems like it's trying to do the TTO thing. So we definitely got highs up here at 1851. Again, not the most perfect setup. I probably would gravitate more towards NVIDIA or AMD. But you know, you still got the stock split on the 15th of July, right? So I would say keep it on watch, but I'm not really sold. I don't know where it is. I mean, if it's running overnight, cool, but I'm not really sold on it right now. But if, you know, if CPI comes in pretty good, then yeah, this could probably do its thing as well too. Cost, I think it ran up, right? I don't know where it is. Let me just check real quick. Where is cost? Let's see. Cost is at 907 already. Actually, that was the level I had for potential exhaustion. So be careful. I'm gonna say that. Be careful. I would probably want to see a pull because it's already taken out not only daily entry with this gap up, but it's already taken out first target and it's already at all-time highs overnight. So this may turn out to be a situation of potential reversal. Like it might exhaust as soon as market opens and continue down. So just be careful with that, right? Another thing I wanted to point out was snow. Again, if market is showing, if market ends up going bullish, snow is something that I would look at for a couple of different reasons, right? We get the 322 rev strat. I know in the month it's still red, but obviously you can see that can easily change within this week. It can flip to the green side. This is not something I want to say to take immediately, but this is something as a swinger you should probably pay attention to. All right. So again, we can easily flip the month. I'm really looking for it to stay above this previous low. But strat wise, we get that 322 rev strat back to the upside. So for me, as long as we close above this and the month ends up being green, we're more than likely going to continue to try to take out or hit at least this monthly target, the 168 80. So basically the 170 the 170 calls might be something that you might want to look at as far as a swing. And then as far as on the weekly, looking at the weekly, so what happened is we basically exhausted off of this previous low, acting as support. However, so far this week, we fell back into, I'm switching into ICT now because we're actually talking about like plays and not the same teaching no more. We fell back into this fair value gap. And as you can see, we filled it and then wicked off of it. So I would love to see how this week ends up closing. But yeah, if we can end up closing, as a hammer, I like that potential 2-2 reversal back to the upside, in my opinion, looking at the week. And also we're at the bottom of a range as well, too. If you draw out your broadening formations, we're at the bottom of a range as well, too. And then on the daily, again, daily hit that previous low, exhausted off of that, came back down to a fair value gap, wicked off of that. So again, that sets us up for the 2-2 reversal back to the upside. So, if you want to take it like on a daily, like a short-term thing, if we do trigger to the upside, I would probably target the 140 calls, maybe for this week, possibly next week. I'm only saying 140 because it's well within an ATR. So, and you're giving yourself 2 days, so you can kind of use it as a lotto swing. But ideally, you would probably want to go ahead and take, the next 2 weeks, right? Give yourself 2 weeks, or at least till the 19th, I would say. Get that expiration there. But yeah, snow is definitely something that I would say, again, keep your eyes on, right? We got the first leg. We came back down into a fair value gap. So potentially we're set up for the second leg to the upside. Yes, I see the bearish fair value gap, but considering according to the teachings of Casper, it's a two-sided fair value gap, so it's not necessarily the strongest type of fair value gap. So it's possible, price is not really going to find too much resistance there. Really at either fair value gaps because they're both two-sided fair value gaps. Oh, y'all talking about Lily? I actually haven't even looked at Lily, to be honest with you. But I probably missed out on the run. But yeah, I'll probably try to do a quick Zoom tomorrow after, the market closes. Kind of see what's what, because if CPI comes out, more than likely PPI is gonna, kind of follow the same exact trend. So tomorrow we'll try to look and see, what's up, what's given a good setup possibly into next week. But again, I'm real hesitant to give you anything now, and not trying to be funny, especially now that I'm consciously aware that people are just entering things blindly. I am hesitant to give you any tickers right now until after CPI in order to protect your port. Again, not trying to, judge or anything like that. It's really scary to know that. That's very dangerous behavior. And again, that's not me coming down on you. That's just very dangerous behavior. You're literally shit, you walking in a haunted house in the pitch black with no weapons, basically. So anyway, if there are no questions, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I want to master technical. Yeah, start with a strategy. It don't have to be the strat, but yeah, start with a strategy, master that. All right. Paper trade. I know some people say don't do it or whatever, but paper trade if you must. But I mean, me personally, I know it doesn't really hold the same emotional effect. But yeah, dude, the point is, whatever it is that you're trying to learn technical analysis strategy wise, beat on your craft, work on your craft, work on it, back test over and over and over again, right? Even if you have no intention of jumping into the ticker, back test it. You know what I'm saying? The point is, for you, is the consistency of finding the same exact setup over and over and over again. And with that point being made, for those of you that are stratting, yes, I do want you to expand and learn every single strat combo. But once you learn every single strat combo, pick like just one or two or possibly three and stick with those. You don't have to attack every single strat combo. You know what I'm saying? Find the ones that are most comfortable for you to see. A lot of people work off of inside candles. I respect it. Personally, I love rep strat, so technically, it's still working off of an inside candle. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to point that out. Yeah, if there's no questions, I'm gonna go ahead and stop here. And
Hey,
then
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. Where'd you say I could find it? About the numbers, the 1, 2s, and 3s.
so go to in the Zamunda Discord, go to Zamunda
Okay.
University.
Oh,
It
the
should be
university.
right below the bots, and you'll see right under FIFA Futures, Tensho's weekly zooms. It literally is the next. It's that first video that you see.
Under Tensho Weekly Zooms.
Right, and then it should say Zoom session discussing the strap basics. That should be it. If it's not it, just send me a DM. I think I recorded the video and I don't think I deleted it, so I think I can find it and send it to you.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
all right, y'all. Thank you. Wait, let me see. Can we follow the signal without knowing the strat? What do you mean follow the signal without knowing the strategic? I don't get what that means. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to elaborate, YT King. I don't know if you mean like, could you take the signal without knowing the strategy? I mean, technically, your signal's in the Discord. Yeah, you can. You could take the call outs, yeah, but honestly, I don't want you to do that. I want you to like, okay. So I'm gonna tell you a personal story. When I first started out, I started out in Wealth Squad. I had no idea about charting. I didn't know about strategy. I didn't even know about the strat at the time. All I did was I took call outs from Kia. That's all I did. Just took call outs from Kia. And yes, it was great, right? Portfolio blasted open, right? But here's what it did. It gave me a false sense of confidence because it made me think like, yeah, I'm the one killing it on those trades. Wrong. I was just taking somebody else's trade. I had no idea why he was getting into it. I had no rhyme or reason, when to get out or whatever. I just waited for the call out, right? And here's the thing you don't consider. When you're an admin and you're trying to call out plays, everything, we know the market is about timing and execution, right? So not only is that admin trying to, one, get in the play, two, type fast enough for you to get in the play at the same exact time as well, right? But then also answering questions that are coming in through the DMs as well. This can alter the timing of a play. And then worse yet, if you don't see it immediately either, this can alter the timing or how your play goes because of when you decided to enter that play, right? Had you known strategy though, had you known, how that admin trades or what strategy they use, that would be the difference of, okay, I agree with his trade, but now is not the right time to enter. Let me wait for a pullback and then I'll take it. As opposed to, let me run enter the trade immediately, only for it to pull back $2 to $3. I'm now down 50%, right? I need to cut my trade, and then only for to see that trade or see that admin say a couple of days later, oh yeah, we had 78%, we had 80%. I can say personally speaking, and I'm sure most of the other pro traders or veteran traders, if you will, would probably agree. Once you understand the why behind the trade, that opens up levels for you as a trader. When you know whether to take something at a certain point or not, you may agree with the sentiment, but again, that's just only half of the trade, knowing the direction. The execution's the other part. That's the reason why we impress upon you to try to learn it. Make time. Even if it's for half an hour a day, make time. All right. But yes, to answer your question, shit, you can take the call out. Yeah, you could. Can I point out where to start to learn in the Discord? Education channel.
Education channel.
Yeah, education channel. I mean, I've just started like kind of reteaching the strat. I know I've been talking with Sal in the background. We have plans. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but we have plans to start I've been working on it like every single day, a 4-week mentorship to like from beginning to end. And I'm talking like you don't know anything about stock options. You don't know the terminology, none of that. So I've just been putting together the content and everything. So we'll probably roll that out soon. No, it's not like to sell you on anything, but yeah, I know because we see that there's some people who in the Discord that frankly, and I don't mean this in a negative, I really don't mean this to like make fun, but they don't know shit about stock options at all.
Hey, look. People, like, for anybody in the Discord, like that guy that just commented, if they take that mentorship, I don't want to charge them what I charge, for people outside the Discord.
Of course. But yeah, I didn't see the EBT option to pay for them. The EBT, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Man, that's Supreme silly ass. That's my homie from the
but I don't know
military.
what's EBT. I'm sorry. What's EBT?
Man, EBT is food stamps, you heard me?
Food stamps, bro. Food stamps, man. Hey, I'm telling you.
Okay. Well, I've never had food stamps. Okay.
Preem, they call that shit something else in other states, you heard me?
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, I think in Florida, I think it's called WIC. I think.
Nah, man. Nah, it's other than WIC. It's got something to do with just straight food items.
Oh, I mean,
It's all
dog,
good.
yeah, I'm sorry.
WIC is women's, infants, and children, bro.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
I haven't.
got an infant at home. That's why.
I've been blessed to not have to deal with that.
All right,
Yet,
bro.
but I don't know, man. The way they raising up these, man, having kids, boy. I love my daughter, but god damn, she getting expensive, boy. I swear. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, to answer your question, YT King, education channel, but more importantly though, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't have the exact numbers, statistically speaking, but the ones who engage and ask the questions the most are usually the ones that we see progress the most. I'm just keeping it a stack. They progress the most. If you stay quiet in the background, I can tell you what's more than likely going to happen. You're going to get in on a
Yeah, because
call.
that's the people that I personally, was sliding their DMs and, shit like that. Like, that's how I've gotten close with Cash, Jabril, call me Mary Jane, or I think that's call me Jerry.
Yeah,
And a
Jerry
few other
Mang.
people,
Jerry Mang.
like people that I see really trying, or I ain't talking about the people that's just talking crazy shit all day because you just bullshit. But I mean, there's ways to get noticed. I'll say that.
Yep. But yeah, no, like seriously. But and that's the thing I want to point out. Like King, like you started asking questions. Anybody made fun of you? Anybody called you stupid for asking questions? No. right? Like we don't do that. So it's up to you, yo. You only gonna get out of this Discord what you put into it. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, right? We can sit here and show you the door all day. We can bring you, the horse to the water or whatever old school saying you want to use. But ain't nothing gonna happen until you drink the water, go through the door or whatever. You only gonna get out of it what you put in. So if you're here for the call outs, cool. Do your thing, right? I wish you the best of luck. All right. But the one thing you're not going to do is not take our advice, right? Not have stop losses, not take profit when you're supposed to, not ask questions and then turn around and DM and say, oh, this Discord sucks. That's what you're not going to do because you're not taking advantage of.
Yeah, because hey, look here. I know they got a lot of new people in here. Well, I'm gonna say we have new people coming here in and out all the time, but like, is a guy that asked me what is a field, what is, he asked me what does swing mean, and he's been in the Discord for like 2 months, and he don't know what a caller is and a put is, and I'm like, bro, you haven't been paying attention. Like, you don't even go to the classes, and like, man, I don't. So he straight up told me, I'm not interested in it. Say, okay, so how you gonna learn? I
Oh,
don't
I
know
know
what
what
to
you're
tell
talking
you.
about. Yeah. I know you're talking about. He was like, I'm not interested in learning the strategy, like learning the charting part. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that one. No, it's sad. It's sad because you're cutting yourself short. You know what I'm saying? Like this shit will open up possibilities. I'm not gonna sit here and promise you millions, but this shit will open up possibilities. You know what I'm saying? If you get like, even if you could,
Man, look here. If you feel like you can't make $1 million, or if you feel like you can't make 100,000 in this shit, then that's what it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got no insane ass work ethic or belief or faith, dog, whatever you praise, God, Buddha, or whomever, you know what I'm saying? You don't got no faith in that man or that individual, that higher power, this shit not gonna work. Period. And that goes with everything in life, you heard me? You know what I'm saying? If you, like I said on that podcast, if you never fucking shoot your shot at Beyonce, you never gonna know what it's like to get a bitch like that. You heard me? You never shoot your shot, you know what I'm saying, life, dog. You never gonna know what the other side of life gonna be, dog.
he ain't
You
lying.
know, a lot of people in my life, in here know what I done been through. You heard me? And if I'd have never had faith, I'd have never be where the fuck I am right now, dog. And I cry like a bitch a day. And of course, that's not my biggest day. I mean, y'all have been around me when I've had some insane days, but this shit still feel like a fucking dream to me. You heard me? Make $1,000 in fucking 10, 15 minutes, dog, for fucking pressing buttons. You know what I'm saying? To coming from not even know how to fucking read. I couldn't tell you how to spell fucking went or, fuck or none of that shit, you heard me? You know what I'm saying? I'm straight up out the project, dog. Man, look, man, if y'all, I know I keep on to tell you about this shit, about study hard and all this shit, but like, I can't want this shit more than you want here. Louisiana ranked last in the education in the entire nation. Shit,
Seriously?
fucking right.
I would have thought it
And
was New
top
Mexico.
and typing and top in fucking political corruption.
Of course, yeah, that's a given. I just saw what the Louisiana government signed. Never mind, that's gonna go political. Never mind. F it. Forget it.
Yeah, I don't. Me personally, I don't like talking about politics and that religion, because I mean, people really ready to die behind this shit more so than gangs or
Yeah,
you
that's
know
why I said forget it. Yeah. So
everybody got their beliefs, and they welcome to that.
so Kim, what are you risking per trade? Like, what's your goal? What's your
Which Kim
Yeah,
is that? Like, what's her Discord name is?
I'm not sure. But yeah, you said your problem's risk man. Like, what are you saying? Like, you risking Kimber? So, what are you saying? Like, you risking too
Oh,
much
Kimber
on one trade,
25.
or yeah, I think so. So, what are you saying? You risking too much on one trade, or you're risking too
No,
much of your
it's
portfolio?
really, I guess it's more so I don't get out of losing trades. Because I'm always trading from a place of desperation. And
Okay.
You
I
can't
know
do
what the
that.
problem is.
Hold up. You can't do that. That's a recipe for disaster because you come in
Oh,
the
I
market,
know.
you come in the market like I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And you gotta
Yep.
be patient like a cobra and wait for that meal to come, you heard?
So
Go ahead.
I'm very stubborn when it comes to the market because I get so pissed often. And then I develop an I don't care attitude. So I literally close my computer and I literally give the money away. I get in my feelings because I get so fed up. And so it's really crazy how it all happens. And I can sit here and giggle about it, but I'm frustrated. I'm very frustrated because the
Okay.
way the stuff happens, when I tell
What
you
have you hold up? What trades have you been taking lately?
the thing is I'm really pissed and I'm trying not to cry because I'm really going through some stuff. But
No, you
I
ain't
have
gotta
taken
cry.
some
You
really
ain't
good
got
trades.
hold up. You ain't gotta cry. You already know I know some of your story, but you know,
Mm-hmm,
we're not gonna even speak about that publicly. I mean, some of them
mm-hmm.
already know, but man, just spit it out. Like whatever tickets you're going through, you know, this
Okay,
literally
okay.
is a safe.
I've been trading on I've been trading the Nvidias, the AMDs, the Amazons, the Palo Alto, what else? I mean, I just all the ones that spy what's been running. And so just all the normal stuff. And and I've been on the right side. I guess some of the stuff sometimes I'm probably uh, maybe lately I've been too far out of the money. But then even when I was like trading at the money, it's just been crazy. I cannot wrap my mind around what's happening. And it'd be, I'll be at the money, I put time on it. It's just crazy. And so I would have those trades where the most I'd see is just, it would be the profit would be so small. And then the gains, I mean, the losses, before I could even set a stop, it would pull, it would go against me so fast. So then I'm pissed because I'm like, I don't even have a chance to put the stop on before it goes against me so fast. And so I'm in my feelings. And so at that point, I'm just holding it. Yeah, absolutely emotional. It's absolutely emotional. I know everything. I know
How much
exactly
you
what I'm doing.
how much you trading with your account in?
Right now, I'm just trading a small account right now.
Yeah,
I revert. I was trading a small account. I would run it up. Every time I run my account up, I turn around and lose it. I I turn around and lose it all every time. Every time.
that's when you get a bag, you gotta take a while off. You gotta close the app. If you haven't been,
Mhm,
I'm gonna say consistently hitting like some huge trades, or you're not used to that, you know, because what you dealing with is sort of like arrogance, or and I'm not saying like you know, you don't talk shit like I do. I know that, you know, but
mhm,
you gotta get your emotions out of the market because you can have more or less FOMO, like fuck that. I made 5,000, I'm gonna make 10 now, you know,
mhm.
only to get clapped later. You know?
Yeah, and it's not, and I promise you, it's not that. Now I can tell you, ego gets involved when it comes to the when a trade goes against me, and it's not, I'm not an egotistical person, but ego is it's something that we all deal with. So I think when a trade goes against me, it's like my ego won't allow me to accept that loss, and so I hold it with that, with that hopium, hoping that it turns around because I know I charted this, I know it did this, and not accepting that the market, did something and things just happen. And so I do things like that. So I'm a very emotional person. And I know that I allow my emotions to get in the way. It's times that I use my stops. I use the trail stop and the freedom that I feel when I use that is amazing. But I don't do it like I need to. I know everything about it. I actually work with people and, helping them. And I tell them up front, don't do what I do. I tell them all the time, set your trust stop, set your stops, know what your daily loss limit is. I tell them all that stuff, but I can't apply it.
Why not?
I think
Because
because
she big Kimber.
Okay.
No,
No
I really think I'm
disrespect.
dealing with some deep. I really think it's really a psychological thing that I am dealing with, and I'm really trying to get to, and maybe I'm making more than this, more of it than it is. But I really think I'm dealing with something that's deeper than that. I don't come from a whole lot, and every time I lose anything, it hits home. And then now, lately I really been going through a lot. And so every time I lose something, it hits home. It's like, because I can't stand I'm not in a position to lose. And so, because I need to do this and I need to do that, I need to take care of this, so I'm trading from a place of desperation.
And
I should be doing way better than I am.
That's not gonna help. That's not gonna help. When you
I
trade from
know.
desperation, you're gonna force stuff, or you're not gonna see something that you normally would.
Right. But
Absolutely.
That literally is a recipe for disaster.
can I give some
And I know that.
can I give some tough love?
Mm-hmm. I need it.
You saying right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I equate that to, just to give you a little personal story. She's passed away now, but one of my exes, we were probably together for about a good 6 years, lived together, talked about families and everything, right? She slowly but surely became an alcoholic. I didn't know the signs at the time because I had never dealt with something like that before. And honestly, you sound exactly like her when I would tell her, like, yo, you got to chill out on your drinking. I know, I know, I know,
Mm-hmm.
I know, right? There's a
Yeah.
difference between knowing and acting on it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say what I wish I said in the beginning. You got to stop. If you can't
Mm-hmm.
if you cannot master the emotional trading, the emotional part of your trading, I don't see success long term for you. I see, yes, run-ups. I do,
Mm-hmm.
but if you don't master the emotional part of it, you're gonna give it right back. So
You're right. You are absolutely right.
So
Because
I know you're telling me and I'm not looking
yeah,
to just be right, but you got to stop. You got to stop.
I agree. No, I'm saying I agree with you because I recently just said that because I've allowed that side to win. It's sad that I've spent so much time learning this. It's sad that I love it so much. It's sad that my mind is made for this. I I I've done some amazing trades
Right.
just to sit. I've ran up some amazing trades just to watch them go to zero.
Right.
I've sat there. It's a mental, psychological. I don't know what the issue is. It's like if I can just do the charting, set the trade up, enter the trade, and walk away and let somebody else manage it, it would be cool. Because I love all of that. It's that part of trying to figure out when, to get out. And I don't know why I can't I'll set the price target, but I won't get out.
But
It's not even a greed thing. It's not even
right.
a greed thing. I just don't know. I probably sound real crazy to y'all, but
No,
I cannot figure it out.
you don't look crazy. I was actually going to recommend exactly what Food just put in there. 2 books I
Mhm.
would say that you need to read, and I mean read and soak it up and read it again until it starts hitting home. Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas and The Zen
Yeah.
Trader by Peter Castle. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's the author, Peter Castle, I think. Um,
Yeah.
and the reason why I'm saying, because that's gonna it should put a mirror in front of you and allow you to self-examine, right? If you don't master the
Mhm.
because saying like, I don't know why I do this, I don't know why. You have to figure out that reason. You got to figure out the why. Why do you know about stop losses, but why do you not respect them? Right? Because
Yeah.
ultimately, whether you're saying it or not, or whether you're conscious of you're saying it or not, you're not respecting your money.
I know. I've given so much to the
Right.
start. A
So
lot.
so when do we start
Thousands.
respecting them? When do we start respecting our money?
Yeah.
Right? Because you worked hard for that shit, right? You said you don't like to lose,
Yes.
right? So if
Yeah.
you're not respecting your money, that means you're not respecting the value of it, which means you're not respecting the time that you put in to get that money, which means you're not respecting your time and the effort
Absolutely.
that you've put in. So that leads to why aren't you respecting yourself?
Yeah.
And
And
Kim, do you have trading rules?
Huh?
I'm sorry.
Kim, do you have trading rules in place? Because you definitely need that as well. And I wanted to ask, how many days a week do you trade? Because you probably
Yeah, thank you, Ali,
want to
because I
take
asked that earlier.
less trade. Yeah, you might want to take less trades, and just
Yeah.
work on the consistency of your trade.
So I do have trading rules. Um,
Okay.
I probably need to make sure I'm looking at them more consistently. Because I think with my frustrations, I do probably drift away from them quite often. Um, and then with I used to trade every day. This year is the first, I've been trading since 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And so in February of this year was the first time I ever took an extended break, a break period, I think. I
Nice.
had never taken a break. And so I think I said I would go to a funeral and be watching my trades, and probably entering trades. And I was just always in trading. And so now I don't always enter, I'm not always actually trading or entering new trades, but I always have a trade going on, but I'm not always entering trades on a daily basis. So I may look at a trade or something like that. Or look at the charts or something, or just seeing what's going on in the market, but I'm not actively entering trades on a daily basis.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But I probably still trade more than I need to. And the only reason I do that, because that's not what I want to do. I don't even want to trade. I don't want to even hold a trade all day. My goal is to get in and out so I can, focus on the rest of my day, work like I'm supposed to. But I get caught holding stuff longer than I'm supposed to
Just
because I don't get caught. I don't get out like I'm supposed to.
I get it.
just make 6 trades a day, and you'll be fine.
Jesus
I
Christ.
need to I need to do less than that.
Nah, he crazy. He on that anything can happen right now. So no, but okay. So the thing I think you like are applying, or at least the way I'm hearing it, you're applying a swingers mentality of okay, let me hold it out to see if it continues running up. But you're doing that during like with a day trade type of trade, right? So I'm not a day trader, but I'm pretty sure day traders, like once they get their target, they're at the very least reducing their position. They're not holding throughout the whole entire thing, unless they drop
Yeah.
nuts or whatever. But my point is, if you hit your
Well,
target,
hold up. Ultimately, it depends, and I can speak on that.
stop drinking.
So, nah, for real, for real. I mean, so although I got targets on my charts and shit, I'm not really focusing on that fully. And I ain't trying to, get nobody to trade differently. But notice I hold my full position a lot. I don't, do no trimming or, none of that shit. But if you got a small portfolio, you can't do that.
Right.
I mean, of course I did what 100, 200, no 169% on QQQ today or whatever.
Right.
But that's not typical. Typically I'm only shooting for 20, 30%
Right.
on QQQ. But I'm also having a lot more contracts too. You know, I mean, your portfolio size really matters a lot in that aspect because then you'll have to hold trades long. You know, like when you're
Yeah.
trading SPY or QQQ or
Right.
you know something like one of them indices. You know,
So the one
I
other thing
think you need to be more disciplined.
that's
Ultimately,
one. That is
Absolutely,
that's
absolutely. So I'll
definitely
tell
one.
you this: when I'm the most disciplined, that's why I do love trading small accounts because that's when I'm most focused. That's when I was just telling my sister this. I know I trade the best when I have a small account and in power hour in the last 10 minutes of the day because I know I have no other choice but to get out. So I can get in and get out. So that I can't, and I'm an overthinker. I'm a horrible overthinker. So in the middle of the day, I do that. I'm thinking about, do I get out now or should I just, I'm thinking about what's going on. I think way too much. So in that last 10 minutes of the day, I love to do, SPX or whatever, because I know it's a fast mover and I don't like to play it, or I don't like to play fast tickers a lot. I like them, but because I'm an overthinker, I cannot trade those during the day because I think too much and the trade is over while I'm still wondering about something, you know? And so it's just because I know me, I cannot trade. I still do. And that's when I know, Kim, you got to focus. And, but SPX move at the end of the day is good because I know I'm zoned in, and so that's when I know I can get in and get out with no problem. And so you said something, Tensho, that is very key. I love a good swing trade. And so the crazy thing is that I probably need to learn a proper how to decipher a good setup for a swing trade versus a day trade versus a scalp because I do sometimes I look at a setup for what I think is a swing trade. I get in that thing and I get the immediate move and I'm thinking, oh, cute, I got to move right away. This is going to be good. And the next day I'm down, and the next day I'm down, and the trade is dead. And I'm like, I just had a day trade. I thought it was going to be a good swing trade, So then I'm pissed with that. So obviously I'm doing something, but I'm on the higher time frames. The setup is good, but I don't get the swing trade move.
Well, you probably got in during the first leg, and there was going to be a notable pullback before the second leg or third leg, whichever one that you got in on. But yeah, Kimber, if you don't mind, I'm probably going to shoot you some DMs every now and then, just kind of giving you reminders. I'd like first and foremost decide on what it is that you want to do. Do you want a day trade or do you want a swing trade? I would say pick one for now until you've mastered those tendencies, because because again, you're combining a swing trade, in my opinion, a swing trade type of strategy, but on a day trade type of trade, right?
Yeah.
So with day trades, at least for me, when I day trade the Qs, my targets tend to be tight and on the daily or the 4 hour, but on a swing trade, my targets could be weekly, monthly, or quarterly. You see how I switch immediately depending on what type of trade it's going to be. So if you're looking for day, that's fine, nothing wrong with that. Just you have to understand to keep those stop losses tight, and also stop looking for the home run plays. That's the only reason why you held and it reversed on you, because if it went up, right, and it was green, I don't even care if it's like 30-40%, right?
Yeah.
You're holding only for it to reverse on you. That tells me you're looking for the home run trade. There's nothing wrong with taking your 40% and having the opportunity to jump in on to jump in for round two, right?
I'll tell you what happened. What happens is that I usually put my swings in the margin account, and my mind is telling me I don't want to use it. I don't want to use my day trade. And so it's a mental thing, because especially if I've used them, so I can't use another day trade. So I'm caught, and because I intended to swing this thing. I put the time on there, and now I got the move, but I intended to swing it. So it was never, because sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I want to close it so bad. So when I'm in my another, my think or swim or whatever, because this may be my Robin Hood, but I could do it in there now. But I tend to do the ghetto spread, to protect it, to protect my gains
Got you.
when I do that.
Okay, so
And so that I don't, huh?
no, I was gonna say one, you got to switch to a cash account. I know you like.
No, I don't. I intentionally do that in Robinhood because when I need to throw some money, because especially with what Thinkorswim, what they Charles Schwab, they take a week to clear funds. If I need to just throw some money in there quick, I
Right.
can do it, and it's there in seconds in
Right, but
Robinhood.
even on a cash account with Robinhood, it you still have I still have my instant deposits, and I'm a cash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
I
that's what
just went back to Robinhood after that
no,
Charles Schwab
that's what I'm
stuff.
telling that's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Go go cash account because and I'm speaking from experience. Some of the reasons or one of the reasons why my trades would ultimately fail is because of that. Because I wouldn't
Yeah.
have what they call it, the PDT, the day trades, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have any
Uh-huh.
more day trades left, or my account is gonna get locked. Right. So
Okay.
I'm telling you from my personal experience, this is exactly what caused me to F up too. So you need to switch to a cash account as soon as possible.
Okay, I
You're in,
literally just changed it. When I went over there, I changed it back to a margin because
right.
of that, because I was
Nah,
thinking I had to. And plus, I do like to do spreads sometimes,
right.
but I can change that back
Yeah, I was
because
gonna
that's
say,
fine.
ask them if and you could ask support. But yeah, your instant deposit should still keep intact. Not now, yeah, it should still be fine. I don't know if it has to do. I am a gold member, so I'm not sure if it
Yeah,
still is intact because I'm gold. But just check with
I'll
support
double
to make
check.
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
YT King, to answer your question, look like why? Look, man, y'all not look. So the example I'm gonna use on this one is Barry Bonds is known as probably one of the greatest hitters in baseball, right? Right? In a baseball season, we talking what 100 over 100 games, yeah, right? And we talk. I forget how many at bats, right? But the point that I'm trying to make with what I'm saying is, out of all of those hundreds of at bats, he only hit home runs probably 20-30% of the time. Actually, no, that's still too high. Probably 10-20% of the time. Out of the so 10 times he gets up, maybe one out of those 10 times he probably hitting a home run. Statistically speaking, trying to chase something on 10% is crazy. As opposed to if you get a single or a double or a triple, you have a higher percentage of getting those. So stop looking. I know you say you just stopped today, but really put that into play. Those 500% plays that those admins get, they're not getting into it thinking it's going to run up 500-600%. If it happens to do that, cool. But they're getting in with the intention of the trade being profitable. So don't start counting the money as soon as you enter the trade. Because I guarantee you going, what does Sal say? You're gonna get your ass smoked like a pack of menthols or cool, something like that shit. All right. Y'all gotta chill on looking for home. Exactly, King. That's like exactly. Gotta be realistic. Gotta be realistic. And the thing that y'all like, I know it sounds so cliche to say it, but compounding works, bro. It does. You just gotta be patient. And that's what it is. Y'all not patient. You gotta be patient with it. Yeah, okay. So this week you might squeeze out a little $50 or maybe $100 for the week. That don't mean the next week you don't do the 500 that you was looking for. I just hopped in for a few if anybody had any questions. I don't know who T Reed is, but okay, cool. Oh, Phil. What's up, Phil? I was like, who the hell is T Reed? The fuck? Actually, you caught us on the end of it. But yeah, if anybody has any questions for Phil, you're more than welcome to come to the mic. You're welcome,
Yeah, my bad.
YT.
This is my I logged in from a different Zoom.
No, you good. You good.
Yeah, yeah.
I
What up,
just didn't
everybody?
know, I just didn't know who T Reed was. I'm like, wait a second, what? How many trades do you actively manage? All right, that's for you, Phil.
I don't know that there's a set number. I think I try not to be in too many, like maybe three to five at the most. Um, and they all have um, different degrees of attention. So like some plays, like NVIDIA, I entered it yesterday, not planning on taking anything from it until really Friday, because I have it going to 140 by the end of the week. So you hop in that, and you're not really, you still keep alerts because people follow me in case they want to take a trim or just kind of see how it's doing in case they want to get in. But I wasn't really, that's a trade I'm not paying attention to until back end of the week. And so I have trades like that, trades that I'm going to hold for a few days, trades I'm looking to day trade, trades that I'm looking to scalp. So it just kind of depends, but I try not to be in no more than 4. And when I say 4, that's including like a video. I have one for this week and I have also one for next week. So to me, that's the same trade. That answers your question.
Doc, you said both of you, so I'll chime in. Yeah, I'm with Phil kind of with that, except that my number's just a little bit smaller on the swings. He said 3 to 5. On the swings, I'm usually 2 to 3, but as Phil said, it's more 2 to 3 tickers, not necessarily 2 to 3 positions, right? So if I'm in, we'll use NVIDIA as an example. I may take NVIDIA 140s for August and September. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's still one trade. That's still one position. Currently, right now, I've taken profit on most of my positions. I really just have American Airlines at this point, just simply because I know, with this expansion at work, I'm really not going to have the opportunity to really look at a lot of things. But under normal circumstances, it'll probably be what my norm has been lately. It'll probably be 2 tickers as a swing, and then I'll leave enough buying power to maybe grab a quick scalp or day trade on the cues. Do I primarily swing? I primarily swing. And most
I don't know how to answer that. It just depends. You know what I'm saying? I primarily like to make money. If that means swing something, cool. If that means, you know what I'm saying, I'm only in the trade for that day or for a little, it just, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to limit myself. You can typically tell just by the expiration date on mine. If I'm throwing something out that doesn't expire until next month, obviously, I'm going to hold it. If it's for that week, it could be for a couple of days, it could be for a couple of hours. You just never know how a trade is going to go.
We'll talk, Kimber. We will. I'll keep in touch. I'll shoot you a DM. It may not be tomorrow, but I'll shoot you a DM. I want to check in on you with that because for me, the mental part of trading might be the biggest obstacle, but in my opinion, once you master that part, I think it'll open up some new horizons for you as a trader. I really believe that. I feel like that, if that's your major obstacle, once you conquer that, you'll even see it yourself how much your trading changes. I like those numbers personally dependent. Right. And back to YT King. The swings that I primarily get in are at least a month out. So if you're not willing to be patient enough for that, then I'd suggest probably stick with day trading or like weekly swings. How much percentage do I risk per ticker? It's not really a percentage. I have a monetary amount that I like no matter what, this is all out. I'm gonna invest in a swing. And then yeah, again, that allows me to leave enough buying power. So if I still want to, F around with the cues, maybe grab like 2 or 3 contracts with those and make a quick, 20-30%, then I'm good there too. So it's not really a percentage that I use. I know a lot of like other traders, well, coming up, a lot of other traders would talk about like risking like only 30% of your port on a trade or something like that. But for me, it's not really about the percentages. It's just more about just the monetary value. if that
Yeah,
helps.
same here. I'm not, I don't want to get so caught in, certain rules where it just enables me to not adapt. Because, like I said, you got to take what the market gives you. And sometimes it just makes sense to size up or size down or just try something just to kind of see what happens. Also, I want to go back to what I was saying about playing 3 to 5 tickers. They're not like 5 tickers in the same sector. So it's like not an AMD, Marvel, Nvidia, and MU at the same time. That doesn't make any sense because you're exposing your pool too much to the one side. You know what I'm saying? And all it takes is for QQ or one of those direction and influence other ones. So I try to hedge, certain positions with a whole other sector that's not influenced by what's going on in QQQ or SPY, just so I don't have to look at my entire portfolio being red. That's demoralizing. So that's something to keep in mind if you're going to play multiple positions or multiple tickers at a time. Try to diversify your portfolio or your plays at one
Great
time.
point. That's a great point. Because yeah, you're right. I do see that sometimes in the Discord when people say they're red and like Sal asking what tickers you jumping in. Usually they are clustered in the same exact sector. So yeah, great point. Yeah, no, for real. Like, no, he ain't lying about that. Like, especially tech. I seen it, a couple of times in the Discord where I see like, well, I was in NVIDIA, AMD, I also took TSM, and it's just like, damn, why you in, but yeah, it's very, I mean, again, market rotation, the funds are rotating to other sectors. So yeah, you should definitely diversify, for sure. Any other questions before we wrap it up? We definitely went over time, but I'm not tripping about that because these are good questions. So any other questions? No, you good. It's not on you. It's not on you. It really isn't. That's not me tripping or whatever. I just looked at the time and realized like, oh yeah, because I meant to go take a run after this, but it's late. I'm probably just gonna hit the hay after this. But yeah, any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, YT King. Go ahead.
While he's typing his last question, I'm really interested what happens tomorrow because we just ripped the face off everything.
Yeah. Sal said he thinking we gonna bleed tomorrow. I remember texting last night too. I was like, yo, I think the market's gonna take off today. I was watching how futures was shaping up, specifically NQ, and it's good to see that it played out that way. So yeah, we might, I don't know, we may see that pullback. We'll see. With a 3K account, do you recommend doing like you contract for a month or two? It honestly has nothing to do with the portfolio amount because I generally, no, that's a lie. But when I started out as a swing trader, I generally traded small accounts. So it really, no, because I was going to say I generally trade small tickers. I've only recently gotten back into them because I'm trying to show people that you can still make just as much money with the big tickers, but risking less with more contracts. But yeah, the portfolio amount doesn't really matter, but it's more about the setup itself. And because I work as a call center manager, I don't always have the luxury of being able to watch the charts, right? So for me, this works because I can get into something, and I'll even admit when I say I get into something early, but I have conviction of where it's going. I'll just give it more time, right? So if you're comfortable with doing that, that's fine. But I'm gonna also give you the cons to swing trading as well too, because sometimes that shit can drop 20, 30, 40% before ultimately going the way that you wanted it to go, right? You may get a bad entry on that swing trade, and again, it might drop. I don't have an issue with things like that. I'm not tied, emotionally speaking, to the percentage of the trade. You know what I'm saying? Because I have given it time to go where it needs to go. Right. So that's really up to you. Swing trading is not, I'm gonna just be frank, it's not for the mentally weak. Right. If you're a person that once you see red, you start freaking out, swing trading ain't for you. I'm gonna just keep it a stack. It ain't for you. All right.
I don't know if trading is for you if you have that kind of mentality.
What'd you
I'm not
say?
sure. I'm not sure trading at all is for you if you have that kind.
Well, you know, some people like with the day trade, it might drop like 15% and then you know it'll run up. But I've been in some swing trades before.
Where you wake up and it's 60% down.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Like the next day, because of some news came out, it tanks it. But you know, and people will freak out about that. And I've gotten those DMs before, like, dang, what made you stay in? Because now I see that it's up, but I got out when it was down 40%, like, because I gave it time. You know? Yep, been right. Oh, I actually got out of that, Doc. It's still going? That's cool. I took my profit. It you know, it was 1,000, it was up 1,000. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna just take profit and call it a day. But damn, that's cool. Actually, hold on. I'm sorry. I just want to look. Damn, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Well,
But you know what? You got to ask yourself why is the stock down? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it panic selling? Is it something else?
yeah,
Because a lot of times, you know, you look up and the next day it's right back, you know, or intraday
right,
is right back on schedule because it dropped for some bullshit.
right.
So,
Manipulation. Exactly. Agreed. Wow. Ooh, it actually looks like, you know what? I might have to put this back on the radar. I want to see how the week finishes though, but yeah, I might have to put this bad boy back on the radar because it was a nice little. I'm seeing a possible power of 3 setup here, right? The accumulation. Here's your manipulation, and if I'm right, the distribution gonna take us right back up above 47 and change. So yeah, I might have to, and the contract's cheap too. Thanks, Doc. I'm gonna give you credit if I put out the alert. Thank you.
so the question is, how do you determine whether it's some bullshit or whether the setup's been invalidated?
You asking me or you like just asking out loud?
Both.
Oh,
My answer would just be the longer time frames. I don't know if you have a much more, you know.
no, I was just about to tell higher time frames.
Yep.
No, like for me, with the foundation that I have from what I learned in trading, I pay attention to the higher time. So like for me, the smaller shit that happens, like the drops that happen on the smaller time frame, I look at that as noise. That's
Yep.
it. It's just noise. That's all it is. But if the higher time frames are still, we'll say on schedule, so to speak, I'm still in the trade. For me, it's not about, I'm not going to say I don't have a stop loss, but it's not a percentage stop losses. And I'm talking to y'all that ask questions about swinging. I don't have a percentage stop loss where if it hits that percentage, get out. I have invalidation points, but I don't have a percentage stop loss. So if it drops, let's say 50%, but on the higher time frames, it's still, so to speak, on schedule, and I've given it enough time to recover from that drop, yeah, I'm probably still in it.
I look at it like, you know, when you're in relationships and your significant other is mad at you, the degrees of her being mad. Oh, she ain't really mad. She'll be all right in, you know, in an hour or so. But sometimes, you know, oh nah, man, I really, really fucked up. So let me go stay at my brother's house. Let me go do something else.
You know, sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, let's try this again another day. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's, you know, a lot of that, like you said, it's just noise. Oh, she don't really mean that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, when she really, really does, and you're like, all right, cool. Today's not the day to have dinner. Today's not the day. Let me leave her alone.
Right.
Let me come back. So that's, you know, it's funny how, you know, life correlates what's happening in trading. But like you said, longer time frames. I always tell everybody, you know, look at the longer time frames. They tell the truer story. Pay attention to the news. Pay attention to, you know, if it's a ticker that follows SPY and you see SPYs getting ready to double top and it has a bunch of downside sweeps and all that, it's probably going to interfere, you know what I'm saying, with, you know, where you see your trade going, depending on your expiration, and you may need to look for this opportunity to average down or to, you know, get out the trade early if you see, okay, it's coming on a double top. Let me hop up now because I know it's going to tank more often than not, more likely than not, if this double top on SPY or QQQ, you know what I'm saying, stay holds true.
Agreed. So yes, and that's some things that we'll talk about as I continue to really talk more about the strat specifically, because that's one where I really learned, foundationally speaking, about paying attention to the larger time frames and what they're doing. And then yes, adding, like what Phil said, adding to your bag of, like before, like last year around this time, I wasn't looking at futures. But because I've added to that bag of looking at futures, and like he said, if I'm in a ticker that futures like NQ, like if I'm in a tech ticker that, and futures about to drop, I'm probably going to cut that call that I'm in just because, again, if it's like a day trade, but if it's a swing trade, I might, absorb that hit knowing like, all right, this is just a pullback on futures. But the point is that information gives me, I guess, an edge, so to speak, right? Because I'm paying attention to not only what the ticker is doing, but I'm paying attention to what the sector is doing as well, too. If that makes sense. Well, let me see the chat real quick. Do I use the 5-minute for entry? Were you talking to me or Phil on that? Oh, day trading. So probably a Phil question.
Sometimes my entries can vary. Like it really just depends. You know, like the way I trade, I'm an EMA. I got 4 EMAs, EMA 13, 21, 50, and 200. So sometimes the entry on the 5-minute, I have to always pay attention to what's happening on the longer time frames, because like we said, they tell the clearer picture. So if I see a sweet entry on the 5-minute, but I look at the hourly and it's coming up on a certain resistance or certain support level that's opposite of the direction I'm looking at going, then I have to respect that. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, so now, if I see support or resistance, from inputs or calls on the longer time frames, and I see, okay, it's holding there, then now I'm looking at the shorter time frames, the 5-minute for the right entry, or even the 15-minute. And also depends on where we're at in the day. At the beginning of the day, it makes no sense to look at these, you know what I'm saying, certain time frames, because there hasn't been enough time for, price action to establish itself. So unless you're looking at the previous day and you're looking at levels is I would say the earlier in the day, probably look at the levels more so than the time frame, just because the levels, the previous day's high or the pre-market high, whatever, stuff like that. Pay attention to the levels earlier in the day. And then later in the day, when price action has a chance to establish itself and you see VWAP and some price patterns bouncing off certain places, then you can start looking at the time frames, in my opinion. So just because I don't want you, to open tomorrow at 6:30 and you're looking at the 5-minute, it's like, okay, you probably shouldn't do that, because it's gonna be a lot of noise that, again. So price action, look at levels on your chart, and look for the actual, you use the levels as your entry point more so than the time frame. I would say that's kind of what I've gotten as I've gotten older and more experienced in trading. It's the price points, the psychological levels, the strong areas of support and resistance, more so than the perfect bounce on the 5-minute, in my opinion.
You welcome, Mermaid. All right. Really for real. Last questions now. Ask them now. I definitely got to get to some sleep. I got to open early tomorrow. So ask your questions right now. If not, forever hold your peace.
I would just say, if you had a nice day today, tomorrow's a brand new day, and there's a lot of stuff happening. You know what I'm saying? We don't really have much, we're making educated guesses at this point. There's no everything's at all time. So
Food is so fucking hilarious. Yeah. All right. Okay. Keep trying to tell me everything you know about trading. I got you. Hold up.
Yeah,
let me get to that real quick.
We're at all-time highs on QQQ and SPY. All we can do is make educated guesses and use psychological levels at this point. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow's a bit of a free-for-all, so I would be very, very careful, what you hop in, and how the market is paying attention. And of course, we have CPI and jobless. So it tomorrow, it's gonna be very, very interesting.
Could be a big thing. It could be either, I mean, it's probably gonna be a great day either way, but like, yeah, it could be a very volatile day tomorrow. So there is an opportunity if you execute right, for some ports to change tomorrow if you execute properly. 8:30 Cass, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. All right. So just again, be patient, right? You're not looking to just immediately jump in, wait for your moment. And yeah, you could, again, tomorrow could be, depending on how you trade it, could be a very good day for you tomorrow. All right. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. When this thing is done converting, I'll go and upload it more than likely tomorrow. Because I'm not going to stay up for this thing to finish converting. So y'all have a great night. Thank you so much for asking your questions. Love, peace, and chicken grease. See y'all on the Discord.